Thank you. It's an honor to be here presenting today. My name is Wendy Ward, founder of futuresTHRIVE. I'm guessing you've seen the news. All too often, we are seeing a common headline: the rise of stress, anxiety, depression, apathy, grief, emotional and behavioral issues. COVID has definitely had an impact, but mental health concerns were at epidemic levels before COVID. In fact, the data shows that 1 in 5 children suffer from a diagnosable mental health condition. 50% of those will suffer before the age of 14, and it will take an average of 9 years for those kids to receive a proper diagnosis. Less than 80% will even get the help they need, ultimately leaving families stranded in their struggle. Tragically, the latest data shows the suicide rates among children ages 10 to 14 nearly tripled from 2007 to 2017. And if that isn't bad enough, beginning in 2014, the pace of suicide doubled, moving from 3% to 7%. Because my own family has experienced the crisis of a mental illness, I've spent the past decade researching the landscape and possible solutions. While talking to entrepreneurs, health practitioners, and families, it became clear that despite the considerable press and panic, the crisis was worsening and barriers to treatment were growing. Doctors are overloaded, parents don't know what they don't know, and the monetary and emotional toll of mental illness is rising. Buried in this sad reality, I concluded that the only way to change the trajectory was to start from the beginning. My company, futuresTHRIVE, is pioneering a new way to manage youth mental health by launching a revolutionary screening tool that will become as routine as the eye chart and a thermometer. Assessment science today is from the 1980s. Do you know what else we had from the 1980s? The assessments being used currently are paper-based, inconsistently practiced, and before the age of 12, mostly filled out by parents instead of the child. They don't offer baseline information, nor do they give longitudinal data for comparisons. Our solution will provide age-appropriate assessments starting at the age of 4, using a gamified interface that combines open-ended questions and best-in-class AI. Using artificial intelligence allows us to collect and interpret both verbal and nonverbal communication by applying voice affect, emotion recognition, sentiment analysis, and speech-to-text keyword flagging. What does this really mean? It means when you ask a 13-year-old girl how she's doing, it matters when she answers fine, fine, and fine, and slams the door. Our tool drives a modernization, providing vital context and information which will steer decisions for more accurate and appropriate support and treatment paths. It will gather the largest amount of data points, taking the least amount of administration, while reducing bias. Our approach is accessible and scalable. We will initially launch this web-based tool with a cohort of pediatric practices, community organizations, and research-driven institutions. In fact, we've already developed relationships with leaders in each of these categories. We look forward to licensing our technology to these organizations and creating a reoccurring revenue model for futuresTHRIVE. Knowledge is power, making knowledge the heart of health. Early intervention is the deciding factor on how long a person will suffer, how long a person with mental illness will live, how productive and successful a person will be, and how costly the ripple effects of their unaddressed mental health concern will be across the many sectors within their community. Imagine a world where suicide, addiction, and homelessness could be avoided. Reimagining youth mental health is right in front of you. We need partners today. An investment in futuresTHRIVE will ensure new headlines and equip communities with 21st century tools to assess, educate, and treat, changing outcomes for today and for all future generations. Thank you.